It's 7:55 this morning here on OTB AM. Organic dairy company Glenisk have signed a 5-year deal to become the jersey sponsors to the Offaly football, hurling, ladies football and camogie teams. The partnership will also see them support underage development by sponsoring Go Games initiatives within the faithful county. And I'm delighted to say we're joined by 5-time All-Ireland winner with Kerry and current Offaly football selector Tomás Ó'Sé. Tomás, good morning to you. How are you getting on?
Hi Ger, how are you?
Yeah, good. Deals like this are actually really important. Glenisk, I think, is one of those organisations that everybody became very familiar with last year when they had the fire in the factory, and it was really interesting to see the local community rally around. So it's clearly an organisation that is well got within the county, and for them to turn around immediately afterwards and give back to the grassroots and the senior teams, I think is a big statement from them about the role that they play, and also just how important it is for counties to be able to tap on into local entrepreneurs and, you know, this sense of being part of a wider community.
Yeah, I think you said it there. I think local is the key word there, and Vincent Cleary and Glenisk have been outstanding in terms of what they've gone through, and it's been a very, very tough time for them. I think everybody rallied in behind them, which is a great sign of the relationship they have with their own local people. But for them to go through what they've gone through and then to make a very significant, I don't know what the exact numbers are, Jar, for them to make a significant investment in Offaly just goes to show that it's about more than the actual investment, and that it's it's a local thing, and it's an Offaly thing, and they want to be involved. And when you have the likes of Michael Dignan in the background, drumming up this type of support, it is only positive, and it's only a small part of it, but it's a vital part of it. We all know how important investment is in counties. So for Vincent Cleary and Glenisk to come in, especially after what happened to them themselves on a personal level, it's a great sign of them, and it's a great sign of the man himself, and long may it continue, because it is vital for not only the teams we all see on TV and the teams we see every Sunday, but the young lads coming up, and it's all about investment, and I think Offaly are on a good thing with Glenisk, definitely.
A quick word about Dignan. It would have been easy for him to continue to use his profile in the paper and on TV to be a hurler on the ditch, but instead he metaphorically and literally rolled his sleeves up and got involved and put his reputation on the line, and has been involved in a massive leap forward for Offaly GAA in the last couple of years, from a position where they were a bit of a laughingstock nationally in hurling and football. They'd gone from being contenders in and potential All-Ireland champions to a very low point, to where now all of a sudden other counties are looking at them going, Jesus, how did that happen?
Yeah, I think, you see, all successful teams, Jared, like, a lot of things have to come right for them to show that success and bring the silverware home. And part of it is, I don't know, I always hear different counties, you need to get on with your county board, and you need to have somebody in there who understands what's going on and is clever enough to deal with the office side of it and the players and the management side of it. But I remember Michael Dignan talking about how things had gone in his own county, and then he actually backed it up, and he went in there, and the thing about Michael Dignan is he's a hurling background, but he played a pile of football himself, and when I was asked to come on board, it was himself and John Mahan, and just talking to Michael Dignan, if you hear him on TV and all that, but if you talk to him about GAA, you know what kind of a man he is in terms of the GAA, and you know what he's about, and you know that I think the key thing is the honesty. And if he has an honesty of genuinely trying to get Offaly back, and it's not about looking at the end product, it's looking at the start and looking at the young kids in Offaly, and they're doing an amount of work that probably won't come to fruition for a while yet, Ger. But it's the putting those, and you could say, geez, everybody knew that, and everybody knew that should be in place, and it wasn't in place, and it possibly isn't in place in some counties still, but it is where it's at. The young people, and I think he's coming in and he's putting in a plan, and I think he's trying to go through the clubs, which is key to the whole thing. If you don't go through the clubs and put these kind of services or whatever kind of link that there is with coaching and with numbers and getting the right people into the right positions, that's what he's trying to do. And I talked to him a good bit, and it's phenomenal, Charlie, like the amount of time that goes into it. And he has his own day job. It's crazy. And maybe other counties are in a position where they don't have to put in that time. But it is all consuming. You've got the bigger counties that probably have full-time positions, but then other counties don't. So I'd have great admiration for him, and the word I'd use again is the honesty he has. You know, you can talk straight to him. He's not going to hoodwink you, and he'll tell you straight up what it is, and that's what I like about it, and that's what attracted me up there as well. You know.
Why did you decide to get involved now? What was the spur to, again, leave the comfort of being a pundit and decide, actually, right, I have an itch to scratch, I'm going to start?
I don't know really. It came out of the blue. I didn't have any plans. You know, I was interested. I remember I woke up one morning very early going to work, and I saw the Kerry 20s beaten again, and I was kind of, I don't know. I actually texted the county chairman at the time, and it was insane, really, when you think about it. At 6 o'clock in the morning, this fella texting the county board chairman. But I was actually cranky because I didn't like the way Kerry at that age level were being beaten every year. You know, you had 5 minor teams that come through, and I just wanted to throw my hat in the ring or whatever. And I suppose the key word is the experience. I didn't have the experience. I managed minor team down here. I was involved with Billy Morgan with UCC for a number of years, and I was like a sponge inside there. And I took on an intermediate team in Cork, and I suppose I didn't have the real experience. And when that opportunity landed itself in front of me, you had an ambitious group of players, you had an inter-county setup, you had a manager who had an unbelievable amount of experience. There was no real great pressure on me, and it was a great opportunity to look, watch, learn, contribute in whatever way I could contribute. And I didn't have to think about it too much, to be honest with you, because as I said, when I spoke to Diagno, when I spoke to John Mahan, and then when I got involved and saw the players and saw the honesty, and you've got the young lads coming, but it's not about the young lads either. It's about the whole setup there, and they have a great faithful fields compared to other setups around the county, compared to what they have in Cork here. It's phenomenal. So it didn't. I wanted to get involved. I'm not really. I enjoy being part of a setup, and I enjoy being part of the. You know, you can never replace playing. But there is a buzz there. I love it, and I love the hard nights training that they go through. And I didn't think you would, as a coach or as a selector or as a manager, get the same buzz. But it is when you see those fellas going in and hammering into each other and playing well and scores coming off and the creativity there. There's a great buzz there, and I'm really enjoying it, to be quite honest with you. It hasn't been a successful year in terms of what we've achieved on the pitch to date, but I've really, really enjoyed it. And we're going into the Tailteann Cup now, and hopefully we have a right good cut off that and make a bit of progress in that.
And Tomás, you just said there it doesn't replace playing, but is there anything that surprised you being on the sideline, watching in?
I suppose, look, I think it's different in a way. Like, you know, coaching is completely, you're always worried about yourself, and you're worried about getting yourself right for training, and I put fierce pride in that when I was playing. You know, I put everything behind football, and everything was geared towards being right for that Tuesday night, and then the next Thursday night, and then after that. But I think with this, you're worried about a lot of things. You're worried about all the individual players. You're worried about what they're doing at college. You're worrying about the time, injuries, you know, when matches are coming up, availability of ground. There's a pile of things you'd be actually stressed about, and there's a pile of things that have to, you know, you have to be very, very organised. I wasn't ready for that side of it at all. Like, you know, I didn't understand. I was involved in a club, but the scale of things on an inter-county level is absolutely huge, and I think that's opened my eyes more than anything. You know, especially maybe in the weaker counties who wouldn't have maybe the financial backing, and you understand now where that backing goes and where that, you know, it's not about the gear they wear or anything. You know, it goes into the food, and it goes into the S&C, and it goes into the coaches, and it goes into an amount of areas. And then you say, yeah, there's the gap there. You know, you can see where if you have resources, how it can benefit you and how you can support players in a better way. So I think it's just the backup teams and the setup itself and the amount of time and personnel involved that kind of, because I came from, it wasn't a million years ago that I was playing, 2013, and you know, I wasn't it's not a million miles away, but it's chalk and cheese compared to what was going on then and what's going on now.
And Tomás, are you learning then the management side as opposed to the coaching side, or are you doing a bit of both?
Trying to do a bit of both, yeah. I wouldn't. Sometimes I kind of question myself, and I wouldn't have the confidence to go out to coaching. But I'm watching and learning. Like, there's certain areas that I'd be very, very confident on, and you can walk up to players and you can say, look, what you're doing there now. I think they're the strengths that I have, because I can see things from a back, I can see things from a forward, I can see areas that we can improve on. But I do think that coaching is a specific. You can see coaches that are at the top of their game, and you have to have a lot of things to have in good terms of coaching. And maybe I don't have that full confidence yet, Ger, but I'd work at it and I'd have no problem contributing. But Offaly, Pádraig MacDonald and Mark Fee are two coaches in there, and are you only diluting it? The pressure wasn't on me. When I was going up, it was like, just your official title is selector. Go in if you want to go coaching. There's no issue. But I love getting involved in the actual football, Ger, but when it comes to the actual coaching and technique and set plays and tactically where we're going, you'd have it in your head, but then I wouldn't have the confidence to implement it right now as other players, because I haven't been a coach all my life at all. Yes, I coached the two teams for the last 3 years down in Cork, but it's not the same, and I do have a fierce interest in it, and I follow it, but there is a difference in terms of management and in terms of coaching, and I've yet to I suppose find out for myself, is it coaching really, or is it management that you're going down to? But I think there is a difference in both, and I think inter-county with the two lads that we have above there, I leave the two boys drive at the coaching themselves, and I see going forward, like I see myself, if I was going to be doing it, Jared, to be more on the management side, because you have the ultimate influence on it, and ultimately there's a few very important people within a setup. Like, your medical team are so vital, your S&C is so vital, your coaches are so vital, but it's the manager that oversees who does what. And if you're happy with your team and you're organised as a unit, then you achieve good things on the pitch as long as. And look, at the end of the day, if you don't have buy-in from the players, you're going nowhere. And we do have buy-in from the players, which is key to the whole thing,
Just on that then, right? Is there a specific philosophy or style of play that you're developing in your head as you go along here and watching? See, you've seen, I'd say, a lot more Division 3 and Division 4 football over the last couple of years than you would have seen during your playing career, obviously, because you were never in those divisions. And now you've kind of seen the full range: underage, Sigerson, club, intermediate, Cork football, Kerry football, and now you're seeing the lower tier division, and we'll see in the Tailteann Cup exactly what that's like as well. Is your philosophy of football changed now from the end of 2013 and into the future? Is that something that you'll evolve further as a manager, telling your coaches what to do?
I think I have a better appreciation, Ger, of capabilities of teams. I mean, we'd be on television there and we'd be talking about, and I've heard people in the past, possibly myself saying it as well, I'm not sure, why don't they play a certain style and why do they have to set up a certain way? I think I have a better appreciation of why teams set up a certain way now. I mean, you look at it now in the SNC, and that was a big thing for Offaly in Division 2, was the physicality of other teams. And you would imagine, the physicality can't be the end result in terms of winning games. It can, and it can play a huge part in it. If you could be aggressive and push up on teams, Ger, but if you don't have the physicality and if you don't have the speed and the pace and maybe the skill set to do that, then you're going to struggle and teams are going to blow you away. And we struggled against the likes of Derry and you struggled against the likes of Roscommon this year. So then you have to tailor to what you have. And there is where you get coaches who have to coach in maybe a more defensive way. And you work, then the emphasis has to be on how you attack, how you score, because at the end of the day, I think players at inter-county level, there was a time where, they'd buy into the defensive stuff and all that, but you have to lay in front of a team, lads, this is how we're actually going to score. And you're not going to score unless you have an attacking threat. And we're lucky enough that we have 5, 6, 7 players. There's young lads coming through, but you still have the likes of the evergreen Niall McNamee, who at 35 or 36, I don't know what he is now, I'm afraid to ask him, but he gives something. But at the end of the day, Ger, coaches, you can't go in and say, right, this is the way we're playing, this is the way it worked where I was before, and this is the way we're doing it now. You have to look at what you have, and you have to build. And it's never finished. Do you know what I mean? You're going to say we're never actually there. You're going to develop more, and you're going to develop physically, and it takes 3-4 years. I understand that now, and maybe I have a better perspective of it. And you'd hear managers going on about it, and you'd look at them and you'd just say, geez, that's a bit of an excuse and all that. And it's not really. You have teams that are further down the line. Look at what Rory Gallagher is after doing above and on so many levels above in Derry, and the physicality, and it taken him 3 or 4 years. Clare, Colm Collins, and the first thing, you can look at the football and you look at the players they have, but the first thing I'd be looking at from now, since I've gone into Offaly, is the physicality and the size of players, because the perfect storm is you look at the best teams in the country and they tend to have most things right, but if you have the size, the speed, the pace, the athlete, and if you can marry that with the football, obviously I'd always be a huge believer. You're going nowhere without football, and I believe that still. So there has to be a huge... It's like, Jerry, you don't have enough time. At times you say, where are we going to get to time to focus on the physical side of it, to focus on the mental side of it, to focus on the skill side of it? And you understand then, Christ, I see why there's so much time being put in at inter-county level. But then my fear of it on another side, on a personal level, would be, especially for the weaker counties, Jesus Christ, why would I be putting in this time? You know, for what? Like, and that's where the Tailteann Cup comes in. And, you know, they need something. They need something proper. Like, the league is everything to those teams. The league is absolutely huge to Division 2, 3 teams, way more important. Yeah, the Division 1 teams don't want to go down, but the reality is, Jared, the way it's stacked at the moment, they're going to get back up within a year anyway, most of the time. So they need something outside the league to chomp at and to want. And you can blame the GAA, you can blame players, and you can blame managements, you can blame counties for the attitudes. But at the end of the day, it comes down to a personal thing. Do you want it or don't you want it? And if you do, then we'll go at it. Like, but yeah, I don't know what the question is, Jerry. I tend to go on and rant.
That's all right. That was great.
Brilliant. And obviously the Tailteann Cup now, these teams, they have more game time. They're going to play more football this summer. Is that the right answer to all of this? That the Tailteann Cup, what's your view on that, Tomás?
I'd have different views, and I think it's like, okay, you could throw certain arguments in front of me, and I'd kind of say, yeah, I'd kind of take that on board. But my general view of it would be, like, we had a chance in Division 2 to stay up in Division 2 so that we would not go into the Tailteann Cup. So that was chance number 1, and that was lost. And then chance number 2 was to get to a provincial final, and that was lost. So then you go into Tailteann Cup, which I think is fair enough. Okay, and I do think that they need something in reality in championship. This idea of you want to play for the All-Ireland. Of course you want to play for the All-Ireland. Of course you want to compete for Sam Maguire. That has to be the goal of every team, right? And that's what we did. We were in that competition. But if it's not there, and if it is a journey, which it is for the likes of Offaly, and really positive journey, I think the future is very, very bright there. Then the Tailteann Cup has to be used for what you need it to be used for. Is there a couple of things I'd change? Yeah, I think the GAA, in the way they've just presented it, is bad. Like, them coming out, drip feeding stuff out. Like, right, that should have been sorted before the league was even over, even the start of the season. I know it's difficult for them, but this has been in the pipeline a long time. Lay it out in front of us, exactly what's involved, where it's involved, the promotion of it. Like, stop making it about money and start putting the players first in a way that they feel yeah, the GAA want this to succeed. The GAA feel that this is important. So put these games before big championship games. Don't start regionalising it. Put the All-Ireland final, put the final of the Tailteann Cup on an All-Ireland final day. Have everything arranged. Have it so that you can just look at a sheet of paper and say, whoa, 7 or 8 big things there. They're serious about this. Let's go. Don't have it a week before where we don't know what the format is or how it's going to be played. And fellas asking, how in the name of God, like if you're treating it like that, then our players going to turn around and say, Jesus Christ, they don't even care about it properly, or they're not giving it the respect. Like, there's so many things about the championship that frustrates me. Like, we have the most condensed championship, and like, okay, I'm not sure this 6 months, and I don't know will we ever get it right, but you have 6 months and you have a pre-season competition. You have a Sigerson, which absolutely drove us insane this year because we had about 8 or 9 players, and people say, squad should be big enough. Offaly at the moment are depending on young players, and a lot of those young players are playing Sigerson. So we were heading into Division 2, which was a huge season for us, and we had 7, 8 players missing constantly. And I in the most condensed season, I'm a huge Sigerson man, huge. They have a 6-week Sigerson, and I'm saying, Jesus Christ, what's going on here? And then you have the National League, then you have under-20s, which, and people might argue, Offaly shouldn't rely on under-20s, but here we are again. Yes, there are lads at under-20 because they have such a good team come through last year that we are still depending on. Keith O'Neill is a serious young player, and that you probably use, and injuries hit us, and you have the All-Ireland Championship. So you have 5 competitions, 6 competitions that you're trying to squeeze into 6-7 months, and you're saying it's not going to work. And like the flip side of it, and I'm going off on a tangent here, Kerry played last weekend. They have to wait now in this condensed, the most condensed season of all. They wait 3 weeks until a Munster final, and wait another 4 weeks until an All-Ireland quarter final. Yeah. There's 7 weeks in this condensed season, which then will point you back to the provincials and say, what in the name of God are we doing with provincials? Like, why can't we have a championship that runs off every 2 weeks for everybody?
I mean, they they voted that proposal B down, which would have fixed all that. One last question for you on this. You talked about the regionalisation of it. Do you know if you're in the north or the south yet?
I don't, Jared, to be quite honest with you. I don't know. I presume in the south because of the fact that we were, and that look, right now that might sound, why don't you know that? Well, we're just so consumed with what happened down in Wexford. We're so consumed on getting the heads right and getting the football right. And at this stage, and this is wrong, like, because you have teams saying, look, when they have that stuff sorted out, when they know what they're doing exactly with the Tailteann Cup, we'll know, which is wrong. It should be laid out fully, ready to go, that we know, and we can say to the boys, right, this is what we're doing, lads. But the fact that it was in the COVID time that the league was divided up and they were in the southern half, I presume we'll be in the southern half, but that's not a guarantee either. I'm not too sure on that. But I mean, look, like, do Ulster teams want to be going at Ulster teams again? Do the southern teams want to be going at the southern teams again? There's question marks about New York, and everybody loves seeing New York involved, and they have 2 boys to a quarter final. Like, are you diluting the importance of the competition? I do think, and I think it's a very, very hard fix anyway, but I think that the GAA could be doing a lot more. Yeah, if you're going to be serious about it, promote it properly and put the time and effort into it. Like the provincials, they're going to fill the stadiums anyway. The Ulster final, it's going to be full anyway. You know, promote the other games and put it in a way. Put a Tailteann Cup before.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
Quarterfinals.
Put it before the big games. Yeah, get the crowds in, and then the lads themselves, you know, they have the crowds there. That's great for them. They're getting seen. All of those things.
Maybe we could have done the same with the under 20 All-Ireland final this weekend instead of putting it in Carrick and Shannon when Kildare are playing in Croke Park. And anyway, look, we have tangents galore.
The other thing, lads, is they will say, and I think it's wrong, right? They'll have a minor team, and look, it's 17s now, which they're kids basically, but they won't put the Tailteann in front of the senior final because they'll say it'll be because of money. They won't say it out, but it will be because of a money situation, in fact, because they'll say, look, we'd fill it out on their own. There's no point in carrying 2 other teams from the Tailteann Cup who would need X amount of tickets. we'd sell those tickets anyway. Stop making it about, you're going to fill the bloody thing anyway. If you're serious about promoting the game in the weaker counties, give them the day. Do you know?
Mm-hmm.
Cora, Tomás, it's been brilliant. Thanks a million.
All right, lads.
Slán. That's Tomás Ó'Sé, brilliant as ever, giving us a wide range of thoughts. He was there to announce that, or to help the announcement that Glenisk are now the official title sponsors of Offaly. That Offaly jersey leaked with the Glenisk logo on it a couple of months back, and we were salivating about it. It is a beautiful, beautiful thing.
It's lovely, absolutely lovely, yeah.
And like, in all honesty, the factory burned down and everybody came and milked the cows and kept the thing going, and it's a massive employer. So it's great to see a global success story, a family business, leaning back in and giving back to the community. So genuinely delighted for everybody involved. And Dignan, definitely somebody who puts his money where his mouth is. It's 21 minutes past 8.